Welcome to this week's Stock Press, the week that was. This is a week that saw me spending 3 days in the United Arab Emirates in Dubai. I was privileged to be invited by CWI to be one of their international keynote speakers. My theme, ESG, governance in a dynamic world. So what did I cover? Well, first of all, I certainly stress that we're living in a dynamic world. The risk profile of a business or an organization doesn't only fluctuate once a year, it actually fluctuates hour by hour. So my first provocation was, are your governance systems and data structures up to the challenge of reflecting the evolution of risk as it changes in this very dynamic manner? We then reflected on the G, the governance part. I was trying to encourage people to see beyond tick box governance, to actually go back to basics. What is the purpose of governance? Governance is to steward the organization towards its core purpose. What is that core purpose? Are the governors aware of why the company exists? Obviously beyond the standard we exist to make money. We talked about making sure that there is synchronization between the company's purpose, its strategy, its tactical plans, and the information that the governors receive are totally consistent with this funnel. The E, clearly 2 years ago I would have given a very different speech. It was obvious the E existed to preserve the planet from destruction by climate change. That's no longer conventional wisdom, irrespective of what I or you believe. So the audience was invited to consider the E through the lens of what is the company's purpose in terms of the environment. Is it a defensive purpose to protect the company from being destroyed by climate change? Or is it a defensive purpose to prevent the company from being destroyed by stakeholders' perception of views on the environment? Or perhaps it's an offensive, to use an Americanism, objective designed to actually generate money through providing services and products into environmental change. The S. I chose to focus on employee engagement. I chose to focus on the fact that there are different groups in our workforce. The Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z. I'm a baby boomer. And each cohort has particular drivers of behavior and drivers of motivation. If a company doesn't understand what these drivers are, good luck with employee engagement. So do your governance structure give the corporate governors, the board, an insight into this element of the S? We touched on hybrid working. Do your companies have clear philosophies and clear policies in respect of working from the office versus working from home versus working in a hybrid fashion? Coming back to employee engagement, if people do not understand why your work from home or work from office policies exist and do not see you walking the talk in terms of the why, you've got a problem. Most people argue that cultural integration and cohesiveness of team and collaboration are important factors in defining the working from office policies. But if people can't see evidence that you're actually creating an environment of collaboration, good luck with obtaining engagement. And finally, we touched on diversity and inclusion. I thought equity was one step too far. We talked about the benefits of diversity of thinking, but pure diversity is a numbers game. What matters just as much is having processes that encourage safe inclusion. Otherwise, you don't get the benefits from diversity. Once again, a big thank you to CWI for inviting me, and a big thank you for the audience for being prepared to engage in an open and transparent debate. I'm becoming a more and more frequent visitor to the Middle East, and very much looking forward to being in Riyadh the year after next for the Global Institute of Internal Audit International Conference. Tomorrow, I'm running the first of my institution-wide webinars on the topical requirements on organisational behaviour and, more importantly, on auditing culture. This one will be run for the IAA Armenia. Thank you very much for listening to me and have a safe weekend. Bye-bye.